Welcome and thank you for standing by. For the duration of the call, all participants will be in listen-only mode. I would like to inform all parties that today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the conference over to Leslie Evans. Thank you. You may begin.
Hello and welcome to the third Money Smart for Small Business Town Hall webinar of 2018. I'm Leslie Evans, Acting Community Affairs Associate Director at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. I'm responsible for leading a great team of community affairs staff in headquarters and in the regional and field offices, as well as the outreach and program development staff that creates a host of resources responsive to the needs of our stakeholders, which include all of you, financial institutions and community organizations that work on economic inclusion. I hope you all know the community affairs staff. That's the team of people at FDIC that networks with you, provides technical assistance, and disseminates financial and economic inclusion resources across the country. Our goal is to reach people who are unbanked and underbanked through our networks, targeted resources, outreach events, and technical assistance. One of the many important populations that we've targeted are our efforts towards rural communities. Since we have a rural organization presenting today, I want to quickly mention our work in rural America. Our staff focuses much of its rural work collaborating in work groups. We have 3 of them. We have a broad rural work group, a Native American work group, and an Appalachian work group. Our goal is to collaborate nationally and focus on efforts to network with and support rural-serving financial institutions and other large rural-serving partners and stakeholders. We plan and host webinars, roundtables, and other meetings to identify collaborative opportunities for capacity building and other economic inclusion initiatives. Our presenters today are from the Opportunities Industrialization Center of Washington, and that's the state of Washington. They're a community action partnership organization that focuses on serving rural communities. We have over 300 people registered today. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to learn about how to implement Money Smart for Small Business. And we encourage you to reach out to us if you need help developing your program. This town hall is intended for intermediary organizations, again, such as financial institutions and nonprofits working with entrepreneurs. As you know, Money Smart for Small Business is a curriculum co-branded by FDIC and the U.S. Small Business Administration. SBA always joins us on these town hall webinars, and today we have Nathaniel Bishop, Program Manager at SBA's Office of Entrepreneurial Education here in Washington, D.C. He's here to welcome you. So following Nathaniel's remarks, our Money Smart for Small Business National Point of Contact, Paula Diaz, will provide a few reminders and will introduce our special guest. Nathaniel, are you there? Please tell us about SBA's work in rural areas.
Yes, Leslie, thank you for that introduction. And hello to everyone and also the panelists that will be presenting today. I just want to touch on 3 key points there that you see on the slide there. One of the main focus with SBA this year is also trying to tap into rural America, as well as farmers as well in rural America. So SBA this year, April 2018, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with USDA, and part of that Memorandum of Understanding with USDA was one of the things we wanted to improve investment opportunities in rural America. We wanted to examine the synergies and streamline some of our programs that SBA offers, programs that USDA offers, especially our lending programs. We also wanted to improve innovation in rural technology within rural America as well. And the last one is that we want to be able to aid rural businesses, farmers and ranchers as well, and provide them with the tools that they need for exporting and around the world. So that's one of the reasons that SBA partnered with USDA this year. We thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to work together as we partner and try to grow rural America businesses. The other partnership that I want to talk about that happened last year, which was August of 2017, was that SCORE and USDA partnered together. And a lot of you all may know SCORE, about SCORE, that's on the call, but if you don't know, SCORE is a SBA resource partner where they have over 10,000 volunteer mentors that train entrepreneurs and small business owners around the country. They have over 300 locations. One of the things we thought was great, this great opportunity for SCORE, was that SCORE have mentors who may have been in the farming business or the agriculture business. So we thought it'd be a great way to partner with USDA, because as you all may know or may not know, the demographics in farming is changing. So farmers over the age of 65 now outnumber farmers under 35 by a margin of 6 to 1. Nearly 2/3 of farmland is currently managed by someone over 55. And over the next 5 years, nearly 1 million acres of U.S. farmland are expected to change ownership, which basically looks like, you have new farmers and new ranchers coming into play. So that's the reason why SCORE actually wanted to partner up with USDA, because it encourages cooperation and collaboration is one, and also it will help strengthen America's agriculture business, particularly farmers, ranchers, and rural businesses as well. The last point here on the slide that I want to talk about is Native American technical assistant workshops. So one of the things we're also doing is also working with the Native American community. Now we know some of the communities are in rural America, and we know some of the Native American communities are in the urban area as well. But one of the things we wanted to focus on is actually providing some entrepreneurial training and development for Native Americans in rural America as well. So one of the things we've been doing this year, and we will continue next fiscal year going into 2019, is that we are providing entrepreneurial training in 12 locations throughout the country, where folks will be able to get assistance. Native Americans will be able to get assistance in terms of either starting a business or growing a business. So that's one of the things we're also working on in 19 as well. And just want to thank you all for the time. As SBA and USDA continue this partnership, definitely check out both websites. Also check out SCORE website as well. So all the great things that everyone is doing around farming, ranching, and providing the business tools and assistance they need for rural America.
Thank you very much, Leslie and Nathaniel. And Nathaniel painted a very interesting picture for us, and that will be followed by a detailed presentation about an organization that focuses on the rural area. So I am Paula Diaz, the National Point of Contact for Money Smart for Small Business. We will be using the acronym MSSB going forward to refer to Money Smart for Small Business. And one thing I want you to know is my job is to promote MSSB in collaboration with SBA and make sure that our content stays current and based on industry changes and the feedback we receive from users. So I want to know anytime you have feedback or comments about our resources, or whether you think there's anything else we need to create for you to help entrepreneurs. Again, welcome. And before our guests join us, I will go over 3 items. And one of them is a disclaimer that you have in your screen on slide number 5. So reference to any specific organization does not constitute an endorsement, a recommendation, or favoring by the FDIC or the United States government. Next, I just want to share the webinar platform, and we want you to know we expect you to be very participatory in this by using this system, and for that you simply use the chat or the Q&A functions. In your screen, or slide number 6, you have a model of your webinar platform. On the left side, you can see the slides. On the right side, you see various functions. The chat feature is marked with the number 1. You may ask questions to the panelists as they come to mind or during the designated times with the Q&A feature, which is the number 2. When using the chat or Q&A functions, please be sure to hit send, which is number 4 in the chart. And if you lose the slides, look for a green and blue circle icon, number 5, in your taskbar, or reopen the webinar link. We will conduct a poll at the end of today's event, and the polling questions will pop up on the right on your screen. And if you're having technical difficulties to join the webinar platform, you can contact Topaz Tucker, and her email is on slide number 2. Slides were emailed to all registrants prior to the event. But if you didn't receive the email, you simply go to the event website and go to the tab Event Presentation, and you will be able to download the slides. We will be referencing the slide numbers from time to time. Next, a few reminders based on the multiple questions I get in between town halls. So please know that you can join the Money Smart Alliance. You can find recordings of prior Money Smart for Small Business town hall webinars and find more Money Smart events at the fdic.gov/MoneySmart. Hopefully that's memorable. You don't need to write it down. You can download any MSSV module and the MSSV Train the Trainer curriculum anytime from the catalog.fdic.gov. The website is also in your slide number 7. Thanks for the questions you submitted during the registration process. We have already addressed some of them one-on-one, and some will be explained at the 2 designated question and answer segments. Please know again that Topaz Tucker is monitoring your questions via the webinar platform or by email. Please be reminded that all participant lines are muted, but you're expected to participate via the chat function. So today, we will hear from Opportunities Industrialization Center, OIC, in the state of Washington. This is a rural organization that is part of the Community Action Partnership Network and is recognized as a micro-enterprise development organization by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Candy Jaeger and Carlin Murphy will tell us how they use Money Smart for Small Business 4 ways and how this resource fits within their organization mission. Additionally, we will hear directly from a job seeker that became an entrepreneur with assistance from OIC. We will pause about halfway through the presentation for questions and answers. So, Candy and Carolyn, thanks again for working on this presentation. We are eager to learn from your experience. Candy, are you ready?
I am. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Candy Jaeger. I'm the Director of the Prosperity Center at Opportunities Industrialization Center, also known as OIC, in Washington State. And with me is Carolyn Mackay, our Credit, Housing, and Business Coach. Carolyn and I will be sharing details about how we deliver Money Smart for small business and how it fits in with other programs and services that we offer. First, a little bit about myself. I have been in the nonprofit and asset development field for 12 years, working exclusively with community action agencies. If you've never heard of the designation before, you should know that there are hundreds of community action agencies across the United States. These are local, private, and public nonprofit organizations that carry out the Community Action Program, which was founded in 1964 Economic Opportunity Act to fight poverty by empowering the poor as part of the war on poverty. OIC is a nonprofit community action agency that was established in 1971 to eliminate unemployment, poverty, and illiteracy so that people of all colors and creeds can live their lives with greater human dignity. The Prosperity Center and the other OIC programs serve people that are most at risk in the rural areas of Washington State. We work to afford a second chance to these individuals and families with multiple life challenges. OIC provides services through 6 divisions, and they include community and emergency services such as energy assistance, education and employment training, home weatherization services, youth services. We provide food banks and provide personal financial assistance development services. Money Smart for Small Businesses falls into number 2 and number 6 on the slide. For over 46 years in partnership with the community, local, state, and federal partners, we have helped Washington residents become self-sufficient through our programs, including job skills training, high school education completion, energy assistance, emergency food assistance, youth and senior services, and money management, including business counseling. The Prosperity Center is a program of OIC and operates in rural Grant and Adams counties in Washington State. We are a financial planning program that provides services in financial education, money management, home ownership counseling, foreclosure counseling, credit, budget counseling, and also microenterprise or small business development services. We are currently funded by the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, Department of Commerce with Community Development Block Grants and Community Service Block Grants. As you can see, the Prosperity Center program of OIC focuses on financial training, home ownership, and business coaching services. The business coaching represents about 10% of our overall client count. We have assisted over 100 small business startups in the last 8 years, which translates to well over 100 jobs saved or created in these small rural towns. The Prosperity Center is a microenterprise development organization, also known as an MDO. I will be using the term MDO going forward in this presentation. To become an MDO, recognized by the U.S. Department of Ag Rural Development Program, an organization must offer 3 services. The first one is training and technical assistance. The second one is mentoring. And the final aspect is micro business loans. Microloans are short-term and low-interest loans up to $35,000 and are used for working capital or the purchase of inventory, supplies, machinery, or equipment. OIC's in-house loans are up to $5,000, and we refer our clients to larger local lenders like Tri-County Economic Development District, Mercy Corps Northwest, or USDA for loans over $5,000. Now my colleague, Carolyn Mackay, will describe how we use Money Smart for small business through our 4 approaches. Carolyn, please share a little bit of your background before you start.
Thank you, Candy. Hello, I am Carolyn Mackay, Credit, Housing, and Business Coach here at Prosperity Center. I come from a real estate and accounting background. I have counseled hundreds of clients since 2009. I'm happy to share our perspective on small business development. I am on slide 15. We offer many programs through the Prosperity Center. Business coaching is just one of our many services. All clients go through the intake process. We run everyone's credit, work on their business and professional budgets, and really discuss their needs and desires before beginning the coaching session. This process gives everyone the full picture and helps drive the client's decision-making, whether it is to purchase a home, foreclosure options, work on a monthly budget, improve their credit score, or start a business. We have 4 different methods when offering the business services. We conduct group classes, one-on-one counseling, self-employment assistance program, which is known as SEEP, and stand-up and stand-alone topic-specific workshops as requested by partner organizations. A group class, one-on-one counseling, or SEEP is a requirement to apply and receive any microloan. An initial intake appointment is conducted prior to any of these services. The group classes use the FDIC MSSB modules. There are generally 5 to 20 people per class, and each class is 3 hours long, once a week for 5 to 6 weeks. Pre- and post-tests are used, and evaluation sheets are filled out at the end of the course. Certificates are given out to those that have completed every module and attended every class. Clients must complete the entire course to receive a certificate. This course is a requirement for anyone applying for a microloan. After completion of the 13 modules, several of our clients and business owners continue to work with us, especially during their startup and first year. We are somewhat limited with resources due to lack of funding. This module is the order of the modules we use for class and one-on-one counseling. MSSB has 13 training modules, and we use them all as they are. We have not made any modifications. We've designed our program by combining 2 to 3 modules in each class, as shown on this slide 19. We think that this flow and order is consistent with the steps of developing a business. As we work through the modules, the client has homework and research to accomplish before the next coaching or training session. We review the modules' homework and see what they need and answer any questions. We are always encouraging and provide positive reinforcement to the clients as they work their way through the modules. Washington State Self-Employment Assistance Program, or SEAP, is a program in collaboration with Department of Social and Health Services and Employment Security Unemployment. A person on unemployment can go through the business coaching classes or one-on-one sessions in lieu of conducting job search. Job search is a requirement to receive unemployment benefits. Attending this class is time-consuming, so for 5 weeks the client can go through our program and dedicate time to plan for a business instead of searching for a job. The client can attend longer than 5 weeks but must continue job search after the first 5 weeks. We have had some clients that after the training have decided this is not the time for them to start a business, but they have made an educated and informed decision.
So at this time, we want to pause for questions, and we have several. Someone asked my colleague Tabas to read the first. Please, Tabas.
Do you have to get a certificate?
Yes.
Do you have to get a certification by USDA in order to become an MDO? If so, how long do you remain certified? What is the reporting requirement?
Thank you, Topaz. Caroline or Candy?
Hi, this is Candy. So no certification is required other than the fact that you need to offer those services, the 3 services. The technical assistance, you need to have a mentoring program in place, and you need to offer loans. So when applying for the funding from USDA or other funders, there are some monies awarded to MDOs. The monies that are awarded to MDOs, we need to verify that we offer these services and provide detailed information and outcomes as expected at the time of application. So yeah, there's no official certification other than just being able to verify that those services are offered and that you are in a rural area, less than 50,000 people in your area.
Thank you. We have another question.
Do you have the same instructor to teach all 5 classes? And is this instructor a volunteer or paid staff?
Thanks.
So we use our internal staff for these classes. However, we do have guest speakers on topic-specific things, insurance, L&I, so different things like that. We will have guest speakers come in. But for the modules themselves, we use Carolyn and other in staff in-house.
Great, thank you. We're not going to give you a pause here. There's another question. Go on, Tabas.
How are you able to fit so much content into the 1.5 to 2 hour coaching sessions when it takes you 3 hours to teach the same content in the group format?
Thank you.
Carolyn, I'll let you go ahead and take this since you teach the classes.
Okay. In the 1.5 to 2 hours one-on-one coaching, the modules are done at home, and we review and coach through each module when the client returns. In the class, we teach the modules. Classes have more questions due to more people, speakers, and one-on-one offers individualized assistance.
Okay, we're going to continue, and we're going to pause again for questions at the end. So,
okay, so
Caroline, go on.
Yeah, so thanks, Carolyn. The second aspect of being an MDO is offering mentoring services, as I mentioned earlier. In addition to the business counselors here at the Prosperity Center, we have a pool of local business professionals who also mentor new entrepreneurs. If meeting with a local mentor isn't working for the new business owner, we refer them to MicroMentor. MicroMentor is available to anyone anywhere in the world. It's a free, easy-to-use social network that allows entrepreneurs and volunteer business mentors to connect so that they can problem solve and build businesses together. The last requirement to be an MDO is lending. OIC offers in-house small business microloans. Our loans range from $500 to $5,000, and a client must attend a class or attend the one-on-one coaching sessions. They must complete a loan application and provide a credit report, business plan, a license, and show financials. We don't compete with outside lenders because these loans are only available to clients who have been turned down by conventional lenders. Some collateral might be needed, but a person's character is really a big factor in these loans. Our loans are usually short-term. They're 24 months or less, and they have zero interest. However, if we do have clients that need larger loans, we do assist the client with loan packaging. This can be very time-consuming. So after the group class or one-on-one counseling and the completion of their business plan and the completion of their financials, we assist the clients with preparing their paperwork for the application to the larger lenders. Like I said, loan packaging takes time and requires a lot of information. So this is why the group and one-on-one coaching is required. We need the client to fully understand exactly what they are applying for. We work with an organization called Tri-County Development, and we also work with Mercy Corps Northwest. Both consider loan applications contingent also on the fact that the borrower has been turned down by conventional lenders. Once the package is complete, it is submitted to Tri-County for review and approval or denial. Applications are reviewed by their loan committee, which always have the final loan approval authority. Applications can be based on each potential borrower's credit listing, their character, what kind of collateral they have, what their business plan looks like, and the ability to repay the loan, as well as the economic impact that their business might have on the community. Borrowers applying for these fundings through Tri-County, USDA, and Mercy Corps also have to have been denied by a conventional lender. These loans are not necessarily low interest and generally require some collateral. Tri-County utilizes Rural Opportunity Loan Fund, also known as ROLF, and they serve rural counties in eastern part of Washington state. They are funded by state and federal dollars, such as U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, USDA, and Washington State Department of Commerce. ROLF has been providing financial assistance to small businesses here in eastern Washington since 1984. Their loans range from $500,000 to $250,000 and are available depending on location and what the intended use is for. Our clients that need to apply for Tri-County loans go through classes, one-on-one counseling, and then we assist them with the loan packaging. Tri-County is funded in part by USDA. USDA offers many types of different lending programs. Listed on slide 29 are some of the business lending programs. Rural micro and entrepreneurial assistance programs is also known as RMAP, provides loans and grants to MDOs so that they can offer small loans to business rural areas outside a city or town with a population of less than 50,000 people. Urbanized areas near a city of 50,000 or more may not be eligible. USDA's RMAP program, like I said, provides loans and grants to MDOs and organizations like mine and like Tri-County Development so that they can offer small startup loans to borrowers and micro-entrepreneurs. To be eligible to apply for these fundings from USDA, the borrower must, or from Tri-County, I'm sorry, the borrower must live in the eligible rural area and employ 10 or fewer employees. They must have finished the training and technical assistance, and they must have access to a mentor. And qualify for business activities and expenses that include, but are not limited to, working capital, debt refinancing, purchase equipment and supplies, and improve real estate. Follow the link to see the eligible areas. OIC is not a lender for this program. Our organization is working with Tri-County in lieu of competing with them for funds in the same service area, and additionally, they have more lending expertise. We are a small program with very few staff, so partnering on these types of loans is vital for the success of our clients. We have many local collaborations. We work with the chambers and businesses.
to interrupt. Yeah. I just wanted to ask a few questions because there are several questions related to the loan programs that you described. So before you jump into something else, I hope you're okay to take some of those.
I will certainly try. I'm not familiar with every loan program, but I will do my best.
Thank you. So there's a question about the number of months that the microloans are extended for. I know you say it's short term, but I mean, maybe they want to know how many months are your loans for. And also, they want to hear examples or a range of the annual interest on these loans, and if there are caps to the interest rates that you can charge. Thank you.
Sure. So the in-house microloans that we offer up to $5,000, we have 0 interest, and it's usually 24 months or less. Usually, our clients don't borrow all the way up to the $5,000, so they're able to pay that back within 24 months. The larger micro loans, they're usually up to $35,000, and depending on the lender, if it's Tri-County or Mercy Corps, their loans are usually from 2 to 5 years, and their interest rate is only 6 to 10%, depending on credit score and just kind of what the business is and how long the loan is. And then if it goes past the $35,000, that's really not considered a microloan, anything over $35,000. And so those loans can just, depends on the amount, they can go out for quite a few years, and the interest rate is a little higher than the 10%.
Thank you, Candy. There's a couple more questions related to the loans, so I'm going to have those asked now. Thank you.
Is there a minimum credit score required for your microloan application?
So for our in-house ones, we don't necessarily go off credit score. A lot of it is off of character, because most of our clients, well, because they have to be denied by a conventional lender. Most of the time, the thing that hangs them up is credit score. So we go a lot off of character for our qualifications, and I know that's similar with Tri-County and Mercy Corps. They do. Carolyn, do you know what the minimum credit score is for them?
They did not give me a minimum credit score, but with Tri-County, they look at the credit score and establishing the interest rate because they know they've already been refused and there might be some problems with the loan itself. So, but they usually go between 6 and 10% is what they've told me.
Thank you.
Did that answer that question?
I think so. We will see if we have more questions in the Q&A. There's another one before we move on.
Do you report your microloan borrowers' payments to credit bureaus?
Thanks, Topaz.
So the OIC program, we do not because they're so short-term, 0 interest. But I do believe that Tri-County does, as well as Mercy Corps Northwest, which is a benefit to the clients because we really don't have default on those loans because the clients go through the technical assistance and they're mentored the whole time and they have help with their budgets. So it's actually a good thing that they're reporting to their credit bureaus.
Thank you. Well, at this point, we can go back to the presentation flow. So we are on slide 31, other collaborations. Thank you.
We have many local collaborations. We work with the chambers and business associations for outreach and education. The Small Business Development Center at the local college is a huge help for clients, and then they also help with the business plan research. We refer clients back and forth often. Tri-County Development, Mercy Corps Northwest, and other social agencies are all great resources and advocates for the work we do. I would like to take this time now to introduce Israel Gonzalez. He is one of our SEEP graduates and a business startup client.
Welcome, Israel. Happy to have you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Great. Thank you.
That's good to hear. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Israel Gonzalez. When I first had in mind on opening my own business, I was not aware of all the responsibilities, regulations, and information of a business owner would need in order to be a successful business owner. So I initiated my business this July 2018, and the business name is IGM Health and Safety Training. My goal is to increase production and safety for the employer and employees. My qualifications to bring the two together are 10 years of experience working in the field in agriculture and increased awareness and knowledge for ultimate production and awareness exceeding law requirements by becoming certified. As you can see on your screen, you can see my certifications there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I am also happy to offer my bilingual services in Spanish and English to increase awareness and production while minimizing hazards and unwanted claims. I am also glad to help facilitate a rise to a brighter financial future for both the employers and employees. You can see there on your screen, you can see the different types of trainings that I provide. Also, in addition to my certifications, I have been endorsed by a great 5-week program course called Self-Employment Assistance Program, known as SEEP, offered by the Prosperity Center here at OIC of Washington. With SEEP, I have gained valuable and helpful information that will help me on becoming a great business owner. The SEEP financial education curriculum consists of 13 chapters. All 13 chapters of the curriculum are very interesting, helpful, and very informative. One of my favorite topics was managing cash flow. The cash flow diagram taught me that owning a business is not just of making money and spending it, but to use the cash conversion cycle and manage your money. One of my favorite parts of the training is the curriculum is also available in both languages, English and Spanish. So that's very helpful as well. The counseling has helped me on gaining quality information and techniques to put in use to succeed and become a successful business owner. Meeting once a week for 5 weeks with my counselor was not just a commitment with the program, but it was very inspiring. Every time I arrived to meet with my counselor, she would greet me with such positive and motivative attitude. The counseling assisted me on getting my business license, my business cards, and also gave me guidance on how to stay organized and much more. The program has also helped me on becoming a business owner and has helped me in using my area of expertise. Through their training, I am certain of my success as a business owner, as an instructor, and a trainer. Any questions?
Well, I have to say, they really train you well on your elevator pitch. I think we're all sold on your business idea, and we certainly wish you success. Thank you for the presentation. This is the first time we have an entrepreneur in one of our modules, so I think it energizes all of us to hear your enthusiasm.
Well, thank you very much, and it's been an honor being part of this meeting here.
Well, thank you. I think there are a few other thoughts and pictures of other happy customers. Candy, do you want to share your final thoughts? And we do have more questions after you have shared your final piece of advice.
Sure. Israel, thank you for sharing your story. And there are a few pictures of our other classes, but my final thoughts, we may not be able to assemble hundreds of people on our training events, but our approach is on depth. So we devote significant time and effort to help a few individuals rather than reaching hundreds. Rural areas are a challenge, and some clients travel 1 hour or more just to get our services because they have no other alternatives in this area. Our service area is 4,500 square miles right in the middle of the state. We have clients outside of our service area that drive up to 2 hours to seek out assistance from us, And there's also very little public transportation, which is a barrier in itself. I'd encourage banks and credit unions to look for organizations such as ours to reach consumers and businesses in rural areas. Having local lender and banking partners are really vital in the success of a program like ours. Our biggest issue is getting locals to see the value in small business and connect the fact that small businesses do generate jobs in these small communities. Being rural, we just don't have the financial resources like larger urban or metropolitan areas do, so financial assistance keeps the doors open to assist clients.
Well, this was great. We really appreciate your presentation, and there's a few more questions that came from the audience. So
please tell us everything you can about the impact of your classes.
So I feel you covered quite a bit about that, but if you can perhaps tell us specifically how do you measure your impact? And I know being a nonprofit, this is a very important element, and I know this is what helps you get more funding and support for your programs. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So as I mentioned before, our classes help clients decide if business ownership is really right for them. Over the last 7 years, we've assisted more than 100 businesses, startups, and expanding. That equals roughly 200 to 300 jobs in our small communities. We measure our impact by that, just what's the job growth? How many jobs have we started in these areas? People don't see an impact when a small business opens, but when you look at it in the larger picture, it's like the equivalency of like opening a large factory and hiring 200 new employees. So really, yeah, we measure it by the jobs started, or sometimes even a success is people realizing that they're not ready to start that business. There's several different ways that we record our outcomes and recognize the impacts of the work we do.
Thank you, Candy. There's a couple of attendees have asked us, they want to hear a little bit more about MicroMentor, so I'm going to go back to that slide while you tell us a bit more about it. Thank you.
So MicroMentor is a social network, just like any other social network like Facebook or LinkedIn. You sign up and you can be matched. You go through a list and you can see like who other mentors are anywhere across the world actually. And you can sign up and ask them to be your mentor, and then you can start some conversations to see if it's a good fit for your business. So it doesn't necessarily even have to be someone in your same field, but as they're looking through the mentors, they might see someone that maybe has, you know, some information perhaps on financials, and they need more information on financial specifics. So they might be a mentor or a mentee of someone like that. And then later on, if they want a mentor regarding something different, they can sign up with a different mentor. So like I said, you could be matched up with someone even in a different country.
So is it free to use MicroMentor, and does an entrepreneur need to go through an organization such as yours, or an entrepreneur can go directly to the micromentor.org and find a match?
MicroMentor is free, and they don't have to go through an organization like ours. They can just go straight to micromentor.org and sign up there.
Great. There's another question about impact.
Do you use the pre- and post-test survey or other tools to assess impact?
Sandy, I can answer that one.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, we review with the client so we can assist them in understanding and why they need to know this information. So it's good to see what they didn't know before and what they learned from the module.
Okay, thank you. I want to encourage participants again. I believe we still have our representative from SBA. If you have questions for Nathaniel, you can also ask during this time. There's one more question that I'm going to ask Topaz to read.
How do you draw attendees? And there was someone who was having a hard time signing up significant numbers of
entrepreneurs to the classes. Yes, thank you.
Okay, this is Carolyn. I'll answer that one. We use flyers, we use radio spots, and we advertise through all our community partners, and we seem to get filled up rather quickly.
Okay, good. Well, I am going to take the time to address at least one question that came through the registration for FDIC. And the question was whether Money Smart for Small Business can be used in an apprenticeship program. And the answer is yes. I don't necessarily know specifically about an organization that uses it that way, but by the wide array of presenters that we've had in our town halls who tell us that they don't have to modify anything to use the materials, I can tell you with confidence that these materials can be used to teach any audience. In fact, some of the modules are even appropriate for youth. We have intentionally created our materials in simple language so that they're easily understood by somebody that doesn't necessarily have a very strong business acumen. We intend for the materials to be easy to understand. And there's a few that are technical, like the cash flow, that someone will need a little basis of financials to understand it, but most of the modules are considered introductory, and as a matter of fact, they do serve as a good basis to go further. So like this organization, like OIC, uses it, I think, is probably one of the most successful approaches because the participants are able to go to a class, and afterwards they're able to follow up with a one-on-one with a mentor, with a coach in a one-on-one. I also got a question if MSSB can be used in a podcast. Yes, all of FDIC resources are, we are the federal government. All of our resources is free of copyright. We make it available to everyone for use. And one thing that we encourage you to do is to let us know whenever you're using it in innovative ways, like using it in a podcast. The only thing that we ask is that whenever you've changed our materials very significantly, you consider, calling them something else and giving us some credit and say that they were based on Money Smart materials. But other than that, we don't. We're not here to police anyone. We don't ask anyone to become certified to use Money Smart for Small Business. As I say, literally anyone can go to our website, to the FDIC catalog, and download our materials and use them right away. So there's another question I want to pass to read from Stephen. Would you recommend?
Would you recommend MSSB to be used in a correctional environment for offenders within 1 year of re-entering mainstream society? Excuse me.
Yeah. So I do want to share a little bit of my perspective, and I basically already covered that question when I was answering if these materials can be used on an apprenticeship. But I don't know if OIC has any experience working with this population. If you want to chime in, you can just comment on whether you think the materials are generic enough that they can be used by anyone. Candy or Caroline?
Sure.
I welcome your comment.
I would say it's very easy. We've actually used it for youth 18 and under, actually 23 and under. But the modules were easy for them to understand. The financial one we had to go into, a little bit more in depth with them. But they all liked it. They had, they did well in the class and they enjoyed it. So the modules are easy to use and easy to understand for most everyone.
Thank you. Caroline, you have some thoughts you want to share? Okay. Well, there's another question that came in that I feel that we've covered it already. We were asked if MSSB can be used can I teach MSSB in my school, was the question. And once again, the answer is yes. As a matter of fact, the schools qualify as alliance members. So this brings me an opportunity to just tell you a little bit about the eligibility. So at this time, We welcome any financial institution to join the Money Smart Alliance, as well as any nonprofit organization, and that includes government organizations, includes K through 12 establishments. We have a bunch of schools that use Money Smart and Money Smart for Small Business, and we always encourage you to let us know. We have about 800 organizations that have recently rejoined the Money Smart Alliance, because we've been trying to monitor and coordinate this community of practice for several years, but we recently did a cleanup of the database and we asked people to re-sign. But we know for sure that there are many more organizations actually using. And since we do a number of outreach events, as Leslie described at the beginning of the event, it is very useful for us to be able to know who's offering, because people visit our website and they particularly go to the Money Smart Alliance website, where they can download a list of Money Smart Alliance members and find organizations that teach Money Smart near them. And I want to encourage you, whether Money Smart is a small part of what you do, like for OIC, they do a whole lot. I mean, they had enough material to discuss in 1 hour, and this is only 10% of what they do, basically, and based on what they were explaining, that 10% of the clients are business clients. So I encourage you to join the Alliance, no matter if what Money Smart is a small part of what you do or a big part of what you do. And at this point, I want to ask our operator to please help us launch the poll so that we can get some instant feedback. And the poll is open to your right, and I see that some people seem to already be participating in the poll. So the questions are on the slide, but the answers, actually, you have to click on the right-hand side of your screen. And I also want to use this opportunity to remind you that this event is being recorded, and it will be made available to everyone who registered. We usually make it available to all participants about 2 to 3 weeks after the event. We send an email, but we also publish it in our website. Within the FDIC.gov Money Smart, there's a Money Smart for Small Business tab, and within that, there's a Town Halls tab where you can find past events and a link to register to new events. Once again, as Leslie invited you, if you don't already know your community affairs point of contact, please go to the FDIC.gov/community affairs, and you will find your point of contact right there. Or I am also happily and readily available to take any questions you have about implementation. So with this, I thank you for your time today, and you're going to have about 3 minutes. Thank you for your feedback, and please let us hear more. And once again, I want to thank Candy and Caroline from Opportunities Industrialization Center, who did a fabulous presentation, and they shared their secrets and details with us. Thank you, Caroline and Candy. Operator, well, unless Candy and Caroline have any final thoughts, or Nathaniel, if he's still available, otherwise we're going to adjourn.
I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you for having us today, and I'm happy to answer any questions. My contact information is in the slides if any organizations out there have specific questions that we didn't cover today.
Thank you for being so generous to share your email. So I remind the participants that your email and phone number is available. And once again, Leslie reminded me to thank Israel for taking the time to share his experience and his feedback with us today. Operator, you can end the call at this time. Thank you.
That does conclude today's conference. Thank you for participating. You may disconnect at this time.